Imagine starting your morning the same way you always have. The same breakfast, the same routine, nothing unusual. But within just a few hours, you're in the emergency room, and doctors are fighting to save your life. This is exactly what happened to Harold, a healthy 72-year-old man with no warning signs. He wasn't ill, he wasn't careless, yet one small choice during breakfast triggered a chain reaction his body couldn't fight. The surprising part? It wasn't the eggs, it wasn't the toast, it was the drink. And the way it interacted with his meal and medication turned something ordinary into something deadly. Harold collapsed just hours after breakfast, and despite every effort at the hospital, he never recovered. Later, doctors discovered that the beverage he'd paired with his morning meal had caused a dangerous interaction, disrupting both his heart medication and his digestion. Harold's case might sound unusual, but in reality, it's more common than many think. Many older adults unknowingly combine everyday drinks with protein-rich foods like eggs or meats, not realizing that aging changes how the body processes food, medication, and certain stimulants. In this video, we'll reveal 5 drinks seniors should never pair with eggs or meats. These beverages may seem harmless, but they can quietly trigger fatigue, sudden spikes in blood pressure, or even life-threatening complications. Stay with me until the end, because you'll not only learn what to avoid, but also how to choose safer alternatives that protect your heart, support healthy digestion, and maintain steady energy levels. Number 1. Grapefruit juice. One of the most overlooked breakfast choices that can cause serious problems when paired with eggs or meats is grapefruit juice. While it might seem like a healthy, refreshing option, grapefruit juice has a unique effect on how your body processes certain medications. For older adults taking common prescriptions, like blood pressure drugs, cholesterol-lowering medication, or even anti-anxiety treatments, grapefruit juice can significantly alter how these drugs are absorbed and broken down in the body. Grapefruit juice can block an important enzyme in the gut that's responsible for breaking down certain medications. When that process is interrupted, the drugs can build up in your system to levels that may become unsafe, and you might not even realize it's happening. The effects can sneak up on you. You could start feeling dizzy, unusually weak, or overwhelmingly tired after a meal, without ever suspecting that the juice in your glass is quietly magnifying your medication's potency. What makes this even trickier is that the reaction doesn't always appear right away. For some people, it can take days or even weeks of regularly drinking grapefruit juice before the body reaches a tipping point. And when it's paired with protein-rich foods like eggs or bacon, your digestion naturally slows, giving the juice even more time to interfere. I once knew a man named Frank, 75 years old, who was meticulous about his health. He exercised regularly, took his medications exactly as prescribed, and never missed a doctor's appointment. Every morning, he enjoyed half a grapefruit or a glass of grapefruit juice alongside his breakfast. But after experiencing a few alarming fainting spells, he discovered that his blood pressure medication had been building up to dangerous levels in his system. The culprit? That seemingly harmless morning juice. If you enjoy eggs or meats for breakfast and take any prescription medication, it's worth checking your labels and having a conversation with your doctor. The good news is there are plenty of other fruit juices that won't interfere with your prescriptions or disrupt your metabolism. Sometimes the smallest change, like swapping your morning juice, can make the biggest difference. Number 2. Energy drinks. Although often marketed toward younger audiences, some older adults reach for energy drinks when they feel sluggish, particularly in the morning. After all, a quick boost can sound appealing when you've got a long day ahead. But combining energy drinks with high-protein meals like eggs or meats can be risky, especially for an older heart that's more sensitive to sudden changes. Energy drinks are loaded with caffeine, artificial stimulants, and high amounts of sugar or sugar substitutes. When these stimulants mix with a protein-heavy meal, they can cause sudden spikes in both heart rate and blood pressure, changes that an aging cardiovascular system may struggle to regulate. What starts as a harmless sip can quickly escalate into an irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, or even dizziness and nausea within a short time after eating. The real challenge is that protein-rich meals slow the absorption of caffeine and stimulants, causing their effects to hit later and sometimes harder, catching you off guard when you least expect it. Protein-rich meals already demand more digestive energy from your body. When you pile a strong stimulant on top of that, your system receives mixed messages, trying to process food slowly and calmly, while at the same time being pushed into overdrive. This clash doesn't just confuse your body, it increases strain on your heart, slows down effective digestion, and often leaves you feeling jittery, anxious, and far less energized than you expected. I recall the case of Barbara, a 68-year-old who swapped her usual morning coffee for an energy drink, thinking it would be faster and give her a sharper mental edge. But after enjoying a hearty breakfast of eggs, sausage, and toast, she suddenly felt lightheaded and short of breath. Her doctor later explained that her heart simply couldn't keep up with the intense stimulation, especially when paired with such a heavy, protein-packed meal. Energy drinks come with another hidden danger. They mask fatigue instead of addressing its cause. For older adults, that's especially risky. Many already face underlying issues like poor sleep, mild dehydration, or interactions between food and medication. In these cases, an energy drink doesn't solve the problem. It just hides it, while the strain quietly builds in the background. If you're looking for a healthier morning boost, choose water, herbal tea, or diluted fruit juice. These options help hydrate you and support digestion without pushing your cardiovascular system into overdrive. And remember, if you're feeling tired, that's often your body's way of asking for rest, better nutrition, or more hydration. Listening to those signals instead of covering them up is one of the smartest health decisions you can make. Number 3. Cold milk. Milk has long been a classic breakfast companion, a familiar comfort many of us have enjoyed since childhood. But after the age of 65, pairing it with eggs, bacon, or other high-protein meats can tell a very different story. The problem isn't that milk is bad in itself, it's how your aging digestive system handles it in combination with other heavy proteins. As we get older, the body naturally produces less lactase, the enzyme needed to break down lactose, the sugar in milk. You may have enjoyed milk without trouble for decades, but now it might be causing bloating, cramping, or gas without you even realizing the connection. And when you mix milk with protein-heavy foods, the digestive strain increases significantly. What you end up with is almost like a traffic jam in your digestive tract. Your body is already working hard to break down the dense proteins in eggs and meat, but undigested lactose slows the process further. The result? Discomfort, inflammation, and in some cases, ongoing digestive fatigue that can sap your energy after meals and even reduce your appetite over time. There's another concern: iron absorption. Dairy products can interfere with your body's ability to absorb this crucial mineral, which is especially important for maintaining strength, energy, and healthy blood levels as you age. Particularly when consumed in large amounts, milk can block the absorption of iron from other foods. Eggs and meats are naturally good sources of this vital mineral, but when you wash them down with a glass of milk, your body may not fully reap the benefits. For older adults who are already at higher risk of anemia or persistent fatigue, this isn't just a small issue. It can slowly drain your energy without you realizing it. Take Walter, for example. At 81, he was still sharp as a tack and never missed his breakfast routine. But lately, he found himself feeling uncomfortably full for hours afterward, sluggish, heavy, and less alert, even when his portions were modest. After discussing it with his doctor, he decided to swap his cold morning milk for a warm cup of herbal tea, or simply room-temperature water. The change was remarkable. Within just a few days, his digestion improved, and his energy levels noticeably lifted. If milk has been a long-standing part of your breakfast, it may be worth rethinking. Try leaving it out for a week and pay attention to how your body responds. There's nothing wrong with enjoying dairy from time to time, but when it's paired with meats or eggs, especially early in the day, it might be quietly doing more harm than good. Sometimes, literally listening to your gut will tell you more than any nutrition label ever could. Number 4. Iced tea. You might be surprised to learn that the tall, frosty glass of iced tea sitting next to your plate of eggs or grilled meat could be undermining your health, particularly if you're over 60. While iced tea may seem light, refreshing, and harmless, certain compounds it contains, especially oxalates, can interfere with your body's ability to absorb crucial nutrients like iron and calcium. These minerals become even more important as we age, supporting bone strength, energy levels, and overall vitality. When iced tea is paired with iron-rich foods, such as red meat or egg yolks, the oxalates can bind to the iron in your digestive tract, blocking it from entering your bloodstream. You might think you're nourishing your body, but a strong brew, especially black tea or concentrated varieties, can quietly rob you of these nutrients. Over time, this can contribute to fatigue, brittle nails, or even shortness of breath caused by low iron levels, all without any clear warning signs. And the concerns don't stop there. Many bottled iced teas are loaded with added sugar or artificial sweeteners, which can cause blood sugar spikes and dips, an insulin roller coaster that can be especially taxing for older adults. When combined with a protein-heavy meal, this effect can be even more disruptive, leaving you feeling drained rather than energized. As a result, you might feel a quick burst of energy at first, only to crash an hour later and feel even more drained than before. There's also the matter of hydration. While tea does contain water, it also acts as a mild diuretic, which means it can increase urination and quietly lead to dehydration. This risk becomes even greater when you pair it with salty meats like sausage, ham, or bacon, which already place extra demands on your body's fluid balance. For older adults, dehydration isn't just about feeling thirsty. It can subtly affect memory, concentration, and even blood pressure regulation. The danger is especially high during the warmer months, when a glass of iced tea feels most tempting. I recall George, a 70-year-old neighbor who never skipped his tall glass of sweet tea at lunch. He loved pairing it with steak or roast chicken, convinced he was staying well hydrated. But over time, he began experiencing dizzy spells, and medical tests revealed he was both borderline anemic and mildly dehydrated, despite believing he drank enough fluids each day. The solution isn't to give up tea entirely, but to approach it with more mindfulness. If you love tea, consider enjoying it an hour after your meal, rather than alongside it. Opt for herbal varieties without oxalates and without added sugar, so you can still enjoy the flavor without the nutritional drawbacks. And remember, plain water, or water lightly infused with lemon or cucumber, remains one of the best choices to accompany your meals, especially when you're enjoying protein-rich foods like eggs or meats. Number 5. Fruit juice. At first glance, fruit juice might seem like one of the healthiest beverages on the table, especially when the label reads 100% natural or no added sugar. But for older adults, drinking fruit juice alongside eggs or meats can quietly set off a chain reaction in the body that few people recognize right away. The biggest concern is the sugar content. Even unsweetened juices like orange or apple are naturally high in fructose. When this concentrated sugar enters your system at the same time as a protein-heavy meal, it can disrupt your blood sugar balance, leading to sudden spikes and dips. For seniors, whose insulin sensitivity often decreases with age, these fluctuations can contribute to feelings of fatigue, brain fog, and sluggishness later in the day. Weight gain and long-term blood sugar issues are just the beginning. The acidity in many fruit juices, especially citrus varieties like orange, grapefruit, or pineapple, can also interfere with healthy digestion. Protein-rich foods like meats and eggs require strong stomach acids to break down effectively. But when you combine those proteins with a highly acidic beverage, it can throw your digestive balance off. The result? Bloating, gas, or even acid reflux that lingers long after your meal is over. Over time, this imbalance can wear down the lining of your stomach or esophagus, particularly in older adults who may already be taking acid-reducing medications. There's also a chemical side to the problem. Certain juices, grapefruit juice being one of the most notorious, can interfere with how your body processes medications. This is especially risky for blood pressure drugs, statins, and certain heart medications. Many older adults make this mistake without realizing it. They drink juice in the morning alongside their pills and protein-rich breakfast, never suspecting that they're weakening the effectiveness of the very medication meant to protect them. I knew a man named Harold, 77, who had eggs and toast with a tall glass of grapefruit juice every single morning. He was on medication for high cholesterol, yet his numbers refused to improve. It wasn't until a nurse spotted the interaction that he switched to herbal tea. Within weeks, his lab results began to change for the better. Juice can still have a place in your diet, but it's best enjoyed on its own. Consider having it as a mid-morning treat or blending it into a smoothie with fiber to help slow sugar absorption. When you're sitting down to a protein-heavy breakfast or lunch, skip the juice and reach for water, herbal tea, or even a light broth instead. If you've been dealing with unexplained digestive discomfort, sudden drops in energy, or medication that doesn't seem to be working as it should, take a closer look at what's in your glass. The answer might be hiding in plain sight. Final thoughts. The story of the 72-year-old man who died after unknowingly pairing the wrong drink with his meal is a powerful reminder that it's not always the food itself that causes harm. Sometimes, it's what you drink with it. For seniors, especially those between the ages of 65 and 85, even small adjustments in daily habits can have a lasting impact. You might be making healthy food choices, but if you're consistently washing them down with the wrong beverage, you could be creating hidden risks for your heart, digestion, and overall well-being. You could be setting yourself up for digestive problems, nutrient deficiencies, or even more serious health issues without realizing it. Let's take a moment to review. We've talked about 5 drinks: carbonated sodas, energy drinks, cold milk, iced tea, and fruit juice, that may seem harmless at first glance. But when paired with eggs or meats, especially for older adults, they can quietly disrupt digestion, block nutrient absorption, and even interact in dangerous ways with certain medications. These are everyday choices, often made out of habit, that can slowly build up into long-term problems. The encouraging news is that now you have the knowledge to take control. Simply being mindful about what you drink and when you drink it can protect your health, boost your energy, and help you get the full benefit from every meal. You don't necessarily need to cut these drinks out of your life entirely. Instead, consider enjoying them at a different time of day or swapping them for simpler, safer choices like plain water or herbal tea during high-protein meals. The most important takeaway here isn't fear, it's awareness. You have more control over your well-being than you may think. With just a little thought and the right information, you can continue living well, enjoying your meals, and avoiding the hidden pitfalls that catch so many people off guard. Thank you for spending your time with us today. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you plan to use it in your own life. Your feedback means a lot, and reading your comments gives us the motivation to keep creating content that informs and inspires. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit. Your support allows us to keep bringing you more valuable tips for a healthier, happier life. Wishing you good health, happiness, and peace, and remember to subscribe so you don't miss our next video.